The heavy mahogany doors of the Romano estate swung open, and the sight inside was a masterpiece of violence. Julian, the mild-mannered tech mogul from my previous life, was pinned to the Persian rug, weeping while two Kane family enforcers held him down. Beside him, Isabella, the fragile childhood sweetheart who tormented my sister to death, crawled toward the exit, her Chanel suit torn and stained with blood. 24 hours ago, they thought they had orchestrated a corporate coup to steal my security firm and humiliate the Kane syndicate. They had no idea the ruthless mafia don standing beside me wasn't just my husband, he was my accomplice in a lethal trap we set months ago. To understand how the soft billionaire and the mob princess ended up bleeding on my floor, you have to go back to the morning I hijacked a private jet and rewrote our destinies. In my previous life, I followed the rules of my family's arranged marriages. I, Zora Romano, the ambitious daughter, was married off to Julian Vance. He was a placid tech mogul who cowered when I raised my voice. Our marriage crashed in a year because he couldn't handle a woman who refused his passive control. Meanwhile, my timid sister Elena was forced into a political alliance with Robin Kane, the terrifying don of New York's most powerful crime syndicate. Elena couldn't survive the brutal mob life. But her executioner wasn't a rival gangster. It was Robin's childhood sweetheart, Isabella. A manipulative parasite who used her fragile facade to torment Elena until my sister fell into a deep depression and took her own life. When I woke up on the exact day before our weddings, I didn't waste a second crying over the past. I initiated a hostile takeover of our futures. I intercepted my sister in her bedroom hours before the ceremonies. Elena, listen to me, I stated, gripping her shoulders. We are switching fiancés. You marry Julian. I marry Robin. Elena's eyes went wide with terror. Zora, are you insane? Robin Kane is the head of the mafia. He's dangerous. I walked to the window, my mind 10 steps ahead. Elena, I need the Kane family's power to back my security firm. Julian is a better fit for you. He is kind, patient, and can give you the quiet life you want. Tears welled in Elena's eyes. She whispered she didn't want me to sacrifice myself. I offered her a sharp smile. It's not a sacrifice, little sister. It's a calculated solution. My mother caught me at the private airport right before the Kane family jet took off. She stood on the tarmac, pointing a furious finger at my chest. Are you out of your mind? You're throwing away a safe match with a billionaire for a gangster. I didn't stop walking. I rushed up the metal stairs, leaving her shrinking figure in the jet wash. As the plane took off toward New York, I made a silent promise. I was going to leverage the Kane syndicate to build my empire. If Isabella tried her manipulative stunts on me, I would bury her under the estate. An hour later, a black Rolls-Royce delivered me to the imposing Kane compound. The armed butler led me into the grand living room, a space dripping with heavy luxury. My attention was instantly drawn to a sickeningly sweet voice. Oh my, what is that awful smell? Is someone wearing cheap perfume? I looked up. A woman in an expensive Chanel suit, looking fragile enough to blow away, stood next to the tall, stone-faced Don himself. My future husband, Robin, and his infamous parasite, Isabella. I did not have the patience for high school bullshit. I bypassed her entirely, walking straight toward the Don, and tossed the amended marriage contract onto the glass table with a smack. Robin Kane, I am Zora Romano, your new fiancé. The contract is there. If there are no logistical problems, instruct your staff to show me to a room. I need a shower. Robin's dark eyes flickered from the papers to my face. He remained silent. Isabella looked horrified. She had likely never seen anyone speak to the Don with such unapologetic disrespect. She tugged on his tailored sleeve, her voice trembling. Robin, I don't think she likes me. If she had pulled that routine on Elena, my sister would have stammered apologies. I am not Elena. And who exactly are you? I cut her off, my voice laced with impatience. Why should I care if I like you? You've got an awful lot of mouth for an irrelevant outsider. Isabella froze. I turned back to Robin, tapping a manicured finger on the table. Or is it official Kane policy to let random outsiders dictate how the Don's house is run? Finally, Robin moved. He pulled his arm free from Isabella's grasp, ignoring her shocked expression. A slow, dangerous smile touched his lips. "Butler, please show the lady to the master bedroom," he commanded. As I followed the butler upstairs, I heard Isabella start to sniffle. I smirked. If she couldn't handle a verbal reprimand, she was going to bleed when the real war started. 3 days later, the Kane family hosted a lavish engagement party. Every major crime family in New York sent armed representatives. I appeared on Robin's arm wearing a custom black gown that perfectly concealed the holster strapped to my thigh. Just as the crowd began whispering about our sudden arrangement, Isabella initiated her theatrical act. She wore a pure white dress, her eyes red-rimmed to project a fragile aura. "I'm so jealous of Zora," she whispered to a group of mob wives, her voice trembling. All it took was a piece of paper to become the lady of the Kane family. Unlike me, I'll only ever be under Robin's personal protection. The toxic implication hung in the air, suggesting she was his true, hidden love. I glanced at Robin. His face was a blank mask. Fine. If she wanted a public spectacle, I would give her a show. I spun around, wrapped my arms around Robin's neck, pulled him down, and kissed him fiercely in front of the entire New York underworld. The sprawling garden went dead silent. When I pulled back, I shot Isabella a smug look. "You're right. I am the woman who legally and physically deserves this spot. And another thing," I added, my voice carrying clearly, "at least I don't have to play the pathetic victim to get a man's attention." Isabella turned pale and desperately turned to Robin for a lifeline. "Robin, tomorrow is the anniversary of my father's death. You'll pick me up, right? We've spent that difficult day together for years," she pleaded, tears streaming down her cheeks. My nails dug lightly into the back of Robin's neck. A silent warning. To my shock, he frowned and nodded. "I'll have everything ready tomorrow." Rage flared in my chest. I tightened my grip on his neck, utilized the momentum, and threw the Don of the Kane family over my shoulder onto the manicured grass. A terrifying silence fell over the garden. The cellist dropped his bow. "Zora, are you insane?" Isabella shrieked. "How could you do that to Robin?" I tilted my head back, a cold smile on my face. "I just did. So what?" I knew this was the exact power play Isabella pulled on Elena in the previous timeline, yanking her new husband away to establish dominance. I wasn't letting her get away with it. Robin didn't look angry. He got to his feet with terrifying grace, dusted off his suit, and announced to the stunned guests, "Just a little physical game between husband and wife." His hand shot out and grabbed my wrist in an iron grip. He turned to Isabella, his tone flat. "We will both go with you tomorrow. It's only right that my fiancé pay her respects." The party abruptly ended, transitioning into our wedding night. The opulent master bedroom was covered in red rose petals. I sat on the edge of the bed, methodically cleaning the custom Browning pistol I pulled from my thigh holster. The heavy oak door opened. Robin walked in, loosening his silk tie. He saw the weapon and raised a dark eyebrow. "Interesting choice of bridal lingerie," he noted dryly. "I don't like to waste my time," I stated, raising the gun until the muzzle pointed squarely between his eyes. "Robin Kane, I hate men who play stupid games. If you think you can have a compliant wife at home and your fragile mistress on the side, we can call this alliance off right now." He didn't flinch. He walked right into the barrel until the cold steel pressed against his forehead. "Call it off?" "Not a chance in hell," he whispered. "So you want to have your cake and eat it too?" I sneered. Robin sighed. He reached up, firmly gripped the barrel of the gun, and lowered it. He sat down next to me. Isabella's father was a highly respected elder who saved my life during a cartel war. I promised him on his deathbed I'd look after her. It is a strict duty, not love. He looked me straight in the eye. "I married you, Zora. You are my only wife. In the Kane syndicate, there is no divorce. The only way out is in a wooden box. I will keep my strict distance from her. That is my blood promise to you. I stared into his dark eyes and saw nothing but honesty. If you break your word, I said, holstering my gun, I'll put a hollow point bullet in your skull. Robin's mouth twitched into a terrifying smile. The coldness vanished, replaced by a raw, overwhelming energy. Now that our corporate terms are clear, he said, it's time to consummate the deal. Just as the tension in the room reached a boiling point, a frantic pounding echoed on the bedroom door. Boss, it's an emergency, a guard yelled. Miss Isabella left a suicide note. She's gone. Robin went rigid. The heat between us vanished. He shot up and started buttoning his shirt. I'm on my way, he called out. So much for his ironclad blood promise. I grabbed a heavy pillow and hurled it at his back. Are all the guards in this mafia family useless? Have you forgotten what night this is? I haven't forgotten a damn thing, Zora, he said, turning back with a look of calculated ice. But if she dies tonight, her father's loyalists will use it to fracture my leadership. I am going to end this pathetic game permanently. He walked out. For the next 3 months, Robin played the role of the dutiful Don, constantly running out to manage Isabella's escalating, fake mental health crises. She would threaten to jump off bridges or claim she was being stalked by rival gangs. Every time, Robin would leave to rescue her. The New York underworld began whispering that the new Mrs. Kane was a powerless joke. What they didn't know was that every time Robin left the estate to rescue Isabella, he was actually meeting with me in a secure, underground bunker beneath my security firm. We weren't separated, we were laying a massive trap. My firm had intercepted encrypted communications proving Isabella wasn't a fragile, grieving daughter. She was actively conspiring with my ex-husband, Julian Vance. Julian, bitter that I humiliated him by breaking our arranged marriage, had funded Isabella's entire operation. They were plotting to use her fake suicide attempts to distract Robin long enough for Julian's corporate mercenaries to orchestrate a hostile takeover of the Kane family's shipping ports. Last night, they finally made their move, storming the Romano family estate thinking we were having an unprotected family dinner. They kicked open the mahogany doors, heavily armed and arrogant, expecting to find a weeping bride and a distracted Don. Instead, they found Robin and me sitting calmly at the head of the dining table, surrounded by 40 heavily armed Kane syndicate enforcers. Julian's pathetic corporate mercenaries dropped their weapons immediately. Which brings us back to this glorious, bloody moment on the Persian rug. Julian was sobbing uncontrollably as Robin's men broke his wrists, destroying his ability to ever type another line of malicious code. Isabella looked up at Robin, her face streaked with dirt and tears. Robin, please. My father saved you. You promised him, she shrieked. Robin looked down at her, his expression utterly devoid of human empathy. I promised your father I would protect his innocent daughter, Robin stated coldly, drawing his weapon. But you aren't an innocent daughter. You are a traitor to the syndicate. He didn't shoot her. He simply signaled his men to drag them both down to the soundproof basement. Robin turned to me, the coldness vanishing as he pulled me into his chest. I didn't just survive the mafia, I became the queen who rewrote the rules.